Is Bitcoin about to see some volatility? In this video, we're going to be jumping down into the most recent technical analysis for BTC to take a look at what has been going on most recently and what we would expect to happen next. I'll try to keep this video nice and brief, but if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new, subscribe. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, check it out, linked in the description down below. In this video, I will be taking a look at two things. I'll be taking a look at Elliott wave theory applied to Bitcoin USDT pair. That's what you see here. And then we'll also take a look at smart money concepts applied to Bitcoin USDT pair as well. This gives us a way of kind of analyzing the market through two different approaches, and hopefully we'll come to the same conclusion. And with all that said, done out of the way, let's jump right down into it. We'll start here, Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart, and Binance is the data source. As you can see, following on from yesterday, we'll talk about the potential of a triangle right in here. We spoke about the target range between 22,572 and $22,759. As I had this triangle drawn out, we had an A wave here, B wave, C wave, D wave, and then E, which is typically breaks outside of our triangle. If I draw the triangle in here, just approximately with these trend lines, you'll see exactly what I mean. You can see here that we kind of have this move here, and then we break to the upside. This is pretty typical of an E wave. E wave usually breaks out of the mold. It can be so many different structures. It can be short, it can be long. Typically, you tend to find this kind of thing playing out. All in all, you can look at this in multiple different ways. I would look at it as a triangle myself, but you could also look at this as just a three-wave structure with serious different corrective structures within it if you wanted to. These triangle patterns can only appear in two places, according to Elliott wave theory. Okay, they can only appear in a wave 4 position, which is what we had right here. Okay, and they can only appear in a B wave position, such as this up here, for example. Okay, they're the only two places that these triangles can appear. They cannot appear in a W wave, a Y wave, a Z wave, cannot appear in a wave 1, 2, 3, or 5, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so just bear that in mind. These are very, very specific in where they appear. So we'll look at it as a triangle, and we obviously hit our fourth wave target right inside this little range. This range is basically between 38.2% and 50% retracement of our wave 3, and we can kind of see that right in there. Now, if all of this seems a little bit alien to you, why not check out 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗀𝗠𝗏𝑐𝑜m, linked in the description below. I put together a course on Elliott wave theory and smart money concepts. You can find that in the description below. So with this being complete, that means, well, we've got a fifth wave to come, right? Volatility, after all. Now, if we go ahead and check out what our expectations would be, our fifth wave expectations would be down here. Again, I'm just going to adjust this based on the actual high rather than the theoretical one that we were talking about yesterday. So it changes our target range ever so slightly. It's basically 21,554 to 21,811 just down in here. I'll get rid of the fibs, and you can kind of see that then coming on down there. So that's my expectation. Now, we would be seeing 5 waves on the way down here. So 1, 2, kind of 3, 4, and 5. So you'd see it kind of bouncing around a little bit. This can be an ending diagonal. It can be an ending diagonal. It could be a contracting diagonal. It could be an expanding diagonal, or it could be an impulsive 5-wave structure within the fifth wave. Essentially, we're looking for 5 waves to be contained within that fifth wave. So do watch out for that. Expect 3 down, 2 up in any case, regardless of whether you have overlap or not, whether they are 5-3-5-3-5s, whether they are 3-3-3-3-3, and all that kind of stuff. So keep an eye on it. But yeah, for the most part, our expectation is to kind of come down into this slightly lower range. Now, it's possible that it truncates. It's also possible that it expands. And under these particular scenarios, you might see it falling short of this target or overextending this target. But typically, this is the target that you would expect the fifth wave to finish in. Okay, so with all that being done and out of the way, what would be the next thing you'd expect to see? Well, you'd expect to see more volatility back to the upside. We'd expect 3 waves, and we'd expect this because we have 5 waves here. Okay, now it's possible that all of this from the very top end here is just a 3-3-5, and it's a flat corrective structure. However, we can't rule out the possibility that this is a zigzag pattern, and it's basically 5 waves down, 3 waves up, and then once that is complete at a much later date, we have another 5-wave move down. That would complete a zigzag pattern. Or worst case, this is just a wave 1 position over here. This is a wave 2, then we have a big 3, 4, and 5, and so forth. And we really start to drop down into those correctiveness areas. So of course, if it is a 5-wave structure, that's a trend, and that would be on a much, much bigger scale. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. So essentially here is a lot of different things that this can be. It could have ended with this low 5th wave down here when that happens, or it could be the beginning of something a lot more sinister. Okay, so we keep a close eye on these things. So volatility is something that we'll be expecting. We're expecting this because we have to come down into this 5th wave, and then we have to move back up again pretty rapidly. Now, it is Sunday as I record this video, and hopefully as you guys are watching this video, it's important that you kind of watch them in a timely fashion. Weekly close. So with that being said, typically what do we see with a weekly close position? You normally see the bulls trying to push that price towards the latter part of the day. Okay, so you see them trying to push the price upwards at the kind of last hour or so in the day. This means that my expectations, considering that we are looking for a weekly close, would be that we'd pull down for the first half of the day and then rally on the second. Okay, but it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens. I'll do a whole video this afternoon on the weekly close, what numbers to kind of watch out for, and all of that kind of good stuff. Okay, so from an Elliott wave theory point of view, that's kind of where we sit with this one. Now, from a smart money concepts point of view, it's probably worth noting on this hourly chart, we had the change of characteristic to a bearish one from the to the downside after a bullish one on this side. Okay, so we can see that we were bullish. We were trying to push our way up after we had that change of characteristic to the downside. We changed that and we went upwards. And then, of course, we now have a change of characteristic to the downside. Now, the other thing that's worth noting here is we got confirmation of that characteristic change with a break of the structure, or a CTS, depending on how you want to look at smart money concepts. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's indicator here, smart money concepts by 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, they use BOS to basically indicate a continuation of the trend, and you use a change of characteristic to basically signal a reversal, essentially. I look at this more as a CTS rather than a break of structure, but it's the same thing as what we're talking about. We had the change of character. We were moving up. We've now moved down lower than the previous low, and we changed the characteristic to bearish. We then confirmed the bearish state by having a break of the structure and a continuation of that trend to the downside. So we are looking pretty bearish at this point. Let's just kind of zoom out for a second. Where we last saw something to this effect was actually on the way up, where we had a change of characterization, which was bullish. We then broke that structure, and then we started to really ride up. We then got a continuation of these break of structures, these CTSs, on that way up as well. So we don't see these very often. You don't normally get them confirmed at that macro level that we are seeing here. For example, we had this change here, but we never got the break of structure to confirm it was going down. Likewise, we got this positive one here, but we never got the break of structure or the continuation of the trend to the upside. Whereas on this side, we have got that continuation. We've got that CTS, we've got that break of structure. So just kind of bear that in mind, that it isn't overly looking positive at that level. Now, when we kind of jump back down into the kind of the here and the now, we can of course acknowledge that we do have a weak low down here. We do have we've got some kind of minor positive change of characteristic right in there, but I reckon that's going to get broken. These usually do. And that happens after we saw the minor change of characteristics and break of structures on that side. Equilibrium is sat a little bit high, but I think that's going to change soon because we do have the weak low. The weak low is currently sat right in here in the discounted area. You can also see there's an internal order block down here as well. I don't think these are going to be anything major and will not stop us from moving down, in my opinion. Now, as we kind of move to the upside here, we can see there is a strong high, and we can, of course, see those internal order blocks slightly higher. We do have this big gap where it was left behind. It's not really visible on the hourly from like a fair value gap point of view. I'll just change to the 4 hour, and it's not there. It's on the 8. On the 8? No, let me check the daily. Not on the daily. It's useful. That's because we kind of have a lot of overlap in those. So let me come back down into our hourly. Essentially, for some reason, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 isn't quite doing this as I would expect. This is why you cannot just solely rely on an indicator, because this, to me, is a big fair value gap, right? And this little move into it doesn't count, in my opinion, as a completion of filling this this imbalance in the order books. So this to me seems like an area that we should be thinking that we'll retrace up into. Okay, this is basically between 22,454 and 23,398. I would expect us to hit the higher end into those order blocks at the higher side, but that would have to happen after we have this move to the downside. As you see that three-wave structure, that would be where I would be expecting us to kind of go right back up into this range, fill that fair value gap that was left behind. So although the indicator here from 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗀 has not marked that, I would mark that because it would make sense that that is an institutional grade candle that has dragged that price down. In fact, if I throw the volume on, you can kind of see the volume here that the institution pulled, or let's say that smart money pulled that price to the downside, okay? So it's important that we do acknowledge that that exists right there. It's not a coincidence either that equilibrium happens to fall within it, and you can see that the selling pressure stops as soon as you see such an institutional candle, because you can't continue selling if the prices come down. You want to be selling it up here a little bit more, right? So no buyers, then they cool off, they allow for the manipulation of the price to kind of cool off. Pretty typical of a wave 3, by the way. It will come down, they'll rally up, will fill the gap, and then the selling pressure will continue after that. So essentially everything from everything from a Elliott wave theory kind of point of view is also mapping quite nicely into this structure from a smart money concepts point of view, because we will have to have that three-wave structure come on up here and fill all of this gap that was left behind, in my opinion, okay? And then, of course, we'll start talking about that next move to the downside, and, of course, that zigzag pattern, which would be a bigger ABC structure, which will be a continuation of our trend that has now formed to the downside. So overall, on the kind of Bitcoin timeframes of the hourly, kind of the here and the now, it does look like we still have some more volatility to experience. A little bit to the downside, nothing major, and then a slightly bigger push to the upside, which I think will happen in the latter part of today. But let me know what your thoughts and opinions are down in the comments below. If you're looking for more information on Elliott wave theory or smart money concepts, check out 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗀𝗀com, linked in the description below. If you haven't yet joined us on Discord, guys, you are missing a trick. There's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. Check it out, guys. I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. And if you are looking for more from the crypto space and you're already in the Discord server, I urge you guys, check out Patreon and check out the YouTube memberships here. They both are the same, different pricing on different platforms because of different fees and stuff. But you can use the join button here, you can sign up, and you can get access to a whole host of different benefits in the Discord server, or head over to Patreon, sign up there, and again, you'll get access to the Discord server with some extra channels that are invisible to just the kind of everyday user. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on in that Discord server, guys. You were missing a trick if you haven't already checked it out. I'm going to leave the video there, though. If you found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.